Our guest in the cafe this morning is Sharon Feld, our books commentator from Sulphur Springs. Sharon, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. And you have mentioned before your admiration for Stanley Nelson. He's a Louisiana newspaper editor who's written a book entitled Devil's Walking. And you got a chance to see him speak and to talk about his work and his writing just recently.
I did a couple of weeks ago in Winsboro at the Cultural Arts Center. He was a guest speaker and lecturer, and I did a book signing there. And I had not realized before I heard him speak that he was a Pulitzer Prize finalist in 2011 for local reporting. And he also won an award for journalism ethics, which is kind of a rare thing these days.
Well, I guess that is a rare thing. At least that's the impression that a lot of us have. So I did not know that.
Yes.
The book that he wrote, Devil's Walking, is a book about the racially motivated murders, and most of them carried out by members of the Ku Klux Klan in the 60s in mostly Louisiana.
Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, in that area, all along the Mississippi River is where and what happened in 2007, the FBI opened some of the cold cases, and he had just happened to write a story about someone from Faraday, Louisiana, where he's the editor of the Concordia Sentinel there, and he just happened to write an article about one of the unsolved murders, and at the same time, the FBI started opening those cases. And he began doing, I think he wrote over 190 articles over the next 10 years regarding these murders. And what he discovered was there was a very secret and very vicious and brutal, even secret part of the Klan called the Silver Dollar Group. And they included, sadly, some of the law enforcement and judges and things like that. They were just terribly brutal. And he was able to help solve and bring justice for the families of 8 of the victims. And it still is ongoing, those cold case murders.
Yeah, these were cold case investigations.
Yes.
How many years after the fact?
About 40,
wow.
45 years, 40 to 45 years.
And he inspired the novel Natchez Burning by Greg Iles?
Yes. Greg has a trilogy coming out. Well, the first 2 have come out. Natchez Burning is the first, and Stanley is portrayed as the editor in one in his series. The second one is called The Bone Tree, and the third one which will be out in April, is called, or maybe I think March, is called Mississippi Blood, and it's all having to do with these murders.
We're talking with Sharon Feld, and Sharon's our books commentator from Sulphur Springs. Now, Stanley Nelson is actually named as a character in these books by Greg Iles?
Well, his name is not Stanley Nelson.
It's an alter ego.
It's an alter ego in there, but he portrays him. I mean, he is portrayed by the things that Stanley did. Mm-hmm. And Stanley is an amazing writer. His investigative reporting was absolutely phenomenal. But the book itself is really, it's hard reading. Not that it's well written, but it's just so gruesome and such horrible things.
Spares you no details.
No.
Yeah. What was your impression of Stanley Nelson there at the Winsboro event?
He is a lovely man. He's very humble and just talked about the only reason that he does this was that he wanted to bring justice because he has received death threats. Somebody tried to run him over twice with a truck, and he figured that they really weren't that serious because he would be hard to miss. He was walking along a road, and he said they could have hit him if they really wanted to.
Wow.
But he's just kind of says that's part of his job, but he's not shying away from any of it.
The audience responded well to him in Winsboro?
Mm-hmm. Very well. He was just a lovely man, and his lecture was very informative, and he brought along slides of some of the actual victims and some of the things that were done. It was pretty sad.
Yeah. Now, this is a regular event in Winsboro now.
Winsboro Cultural Arts Group sponsors all different kinds of cultural events there at the little center. And on November the 12th, they're having an author's book signing with all-day event on Saturday the 12th. and there will be many authors, local, and bring some in from other places too. And they have not only just authors, but they have artists of the musical area, every genre, and they do some classical things, and it's just a really amazing program for such a tiny little town.
Yeah, and something going on almost every weekend.
Yes,
So
very much.
People ought to look into that and make a trip down there to Winsboro.
Absolutely.
One weekend. Good. Sharon, thanks for this, and thanks for having a cup of coffee with us again.
Loved having it. Thank
Sharon
you.
Feld, our books commentator from Sulphur Springs, and you're starting the day with Morning Edition on your station, 88.9 KEPR.